Workplace communication skills. The ability to communicate effectively with supervisor, colleagues, and staff is essential no matter what industry people work in. I would describe myself as a good listener. Life taught me that listening is more important than talking in both personal and professional relationships. One must listen to understand their colleagues, customers, or life partners. Um, so there are several skills, communication skills in a workplace that could be used. One of them would be shared language, and this refers to people who are developing understanding among themselves based on language to help them communicate more effectively. Next skill is making enriched connections. That refers to people who are having something in common. So they're trying to find a trust. Next skill could be listening better, equals to voluntary listening. This skill refers to people paying close attention to what the other person is saying, asking clarifying questions, and rephrasing what the person says to ensure understanding. Through active listening, the listener can better understand what the other person is trying to say and respond appropriately. Next skill is holding responsibility for communication. So whoever starts communication should be responsible. Next skill is focusing on the outcome. People are measured on what kind of value they bring to the company or conversation. Communication focusing on outcomes has higher chance to evaluate the overall communication. Next skill is being as direct as the point as possible. Effective communication should be focused on the main point of the conversation to avoid losing a lead in it. Next skill is personalize it. This skill refers to finding empathy to the other person, finding the way he or she thinks to make the conversation more enjoyable. Last skill could be response with curiosity. Communication using response with curiosity breaks down barriers among people and opens the flow of questions and ideas. Good communication means saying just enough and focusing on the main point of conversation. Don't talk too much or too little. Try to convey the message in as few words as possible. Say what you want clearly and directly, whether you are speaking to someone in person, on telephone, or via email. If you ramble on, your listener will either tune you out or will be unsure of exactly what you want. Think about what you want to say before you say it. This will help you to avoid talking excessively and or confusing your audience. Through a friendly tone, a personal question, or a smile, coworkers will engage in open and honest communication easier. It is important to be nice and polite in all workplace communications. This is important in both face-to-face and written communication. Personalization of emails to coworkers. Have a nice trip at the beginning of an email can make the recipient feel more appreciated. A good communicator should enter any conversation with a flexible, open mind. Be open to listening to and understanding the other person's point of view by being willing to enter a dialogue, even with people with whom someone disagree. Communicators will have more honest, productive conversations. Being able to appropriately give and receive feedback is an important communication skill. Managers and supervisors should continuously look for ways to provide employees with constructive feedback, be it through email, phone calls, or weekly status upgrades. Giving feedback involves giving praise as well. Something as saying "good job," "thanks for taking care of that," or "thanks for your help" to an employee can greatly increase motivation. Similarly, one should be able to accept and even encourage feedback from others. Listen to the feedback given as clarifying questions if one is unsure of the issue, and more efforts to implement feedback. Lastly, an important communication skill is to simply know what form of communication to use. For example, some serious conversations are almost always best done in person. For example, layoffs, change in salary, promotions. When needing to speak with someone unavailable, it is a good idea to send a message through email. People will appreciate the thoughtful meanings of communication and will be more likely to respond positively to the sender.